everyone, I'm Nicole here with Organized and Creative. Today I'm sharing the creative process behind this water lily painting. It's the first in a flower portrait series and I explored a lot of firsts in making this painting. So let's get into it. First I started with selecting reference photos of different flowers I've taken while out and about at parks. From those photos I sketched thumbnails to see different composition combinations. I drew 6 thumbnails and I picked this one as the first. I really liked all of the thumbnails, so I think those will make up the next pieces in the series. Once I picked my thumbnail, I used a projector to transfer the sketch onto a 16 by 20 canvas. Once I got everything lined up, it was pretty easy to sketch. And I ended up sketching it pretty lightly because I was afraid of the pencil to show up in the final painting. But I think I can afford to sketch it darker next time to help with this next step, the underpainting. This is the first time I've attempted an underpainting. I went with a reddish brown for warm undertone. I added a lot of water so it went like a wash all over the canvas. Then I went back in with white to add highlights and more of the reddish brown for shadows. Once the underpainting dried, I went in with a light base color wash. First I did the background and then the flower, stem, seed pod, and lily pad, and then adding in my highlights and shadows along the way. This is also a step I've never done before, but it was super helpful to see how the colors that I chose would play out. And I love using acrylic paint, such a great medium, because it doesn't take very long to dry between layers. I decided not to depict the flower in water, but to go with a solid color background. I chose a teal to kind of be a nod to it. And since this is a portrait, I wanted to isolate the plant and not flood the background with a lot of things. I really want to focus on getting the light right. So I added white to the left side to show where the light is coming from, and darker blues and purples on the right side to show shadow. Once I was satisfied with the background, I moved on to the flower. My reference photo was of a white flower with fuchsia accents, but I wanted more color, so I went with a magenta and purple. I laid a base color for my flower and then I added my highlights and shadows. Blending color wet on wet is great because it goes on smooth, but then I added color when it was dry to add layer and dimension. I took creative license with the seed pod in the middle by adding some fiery warm tones, and then I used that same yellow, orange, and red to some of the petals. I'm trying to wrap light and make it seem like the flower is opening or blooming. But I have to be careful not to overwork areas, so I shift my focus to the greenery. I go to the stem, the seed pod, and the lily pad. I'm going for detail, but I'm trying not to overpower the flower. To finish, I touch up the background and I take a step back and look at the composition as a whole. I really loved how it turned out and I'm excited to continue painting. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments. And stay tuned for more in the flower portrait series and check out more on Organized and Creative.